All we're asking is to be treated like everybody else, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
And we have a solution, don't we?
We do.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm diving into a major issue that affects Louisiana and the entire Gulf Coast. We're talking about the RISEE Act and why Senator Kennedy is pressing Governor Edwards on it. If you care about fair funding and coastal restoration, stick around. This one's important. And hey, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Let's get into it.
Governor, good to see you. You live in a big house, don't you?
Currently I do, yes, sir.
How big is the governor's mansion?
I don't know the square footage, but it's large, and it's 60 years old this year. You ought to come by and
I
see-
need to
see
get
the
by.
work.
Well, the professor from Tulane doesn't like that. Let me ask you, do you think it's fair? Look, John Bell, we get 37.5% of offshore oil royalties under Go Mesa. New Mexico gets 50% share from the federal government, for God's sakes. Wyoming gets 50%. North Dakota gets 50%. We get 37.5%, and we got to share it with 4 other states.
And it's capped at $375 million that we get to share no matter.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Now, that just sucks.
I don't think it's fair, and 90% of all Gulf oil and gas exploration production activities are served out of Port Fourchon. So we bear the brunt of the infrastructure necessary to make all of that happen, but we're not sharing the way other states share, and it's one of the reasons I thank the members of this committee while you were out for the ones who co-sponsored the RISE Act, because it is incredibly important for a state like Louisiana, and we constitutionally dedicate every dollar we get, as you know, to the coast.
Louisiana currently gets 37.5% of offshore oil royalties under the Gulf of Mexico Energy Security Act, or GOMESA. Sounds decent, right? Well, not really. Other states like New Mexico, Wyoming, and North Dakota get 50%, and we have to share that 37.5% with 4 other states, and there's a cap on how much we receive. Senator Kennedy put it bluntly. That just sucks. And you know what? He's right.
All we're asking is to be treated like everybody else, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
And we have a solution, don't we?
We do.
And it's called the RISE Act. Tell us about the RISE Act.
Well, it's a wonderful piece of legislation that we are obviously hoping that you pass, not only for the benefits that you just mentioned, but currently there's no revenue sharing mechanism in place in federal law with respect to wind. We'll have the first offshore wind lease sale next month. And so this is a very real thing for us, especially as we look at the loss of the BP Horizon fines that have been paying. In fact, the Mid-Barataria, $2.9 billion paid for with BP dollars. But those go away in 2031. We really need to replace that revenue, and wind energy gives us an opportunity, but we need that structure in place, and I appreciate your work on that.
Louisiana shoulders a huge burden when it comes to oil and gas production. 90% of all Gulf oil and gas exploration is served out of Louisiana ports. We're doing the heavy lifting, but we're not getting our fair share. That's why we need the RISEE Act. The RISEE Act is legislation designed to fix this imbalance. It ensures that states like Louisiana get a fairer share of revenue from offshore energy production, whether it's oil, gas, or wind energy. Right now, there's no revenue-sharing law in place for offshore wind projects. That's a big deal because the first offshore wind lease sale is happening next month. Louisiana has the infrastructure, the workforce, and the coastline to be a leader in offshore wind, but we need to make sure that revenue comes back to our state.
Well, to be blunt, we've proven we can use the money well, and we've put our own money up, and it is patently unfair that other states get a larger share, much larger share than Louisiana. And I think the RISE Act, which will also help our wind industry, as Senator Whitehouse knows, we're working together on, is long overdue. And I appreciate you coming up here to talk about that bill. I was in Judiciary, that's why I was late. And the chairman's been very generous with allowing me to go over. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Governor Edwards pointed out something really important. Louisiana dedicates every dollar of oil and gas revenue to coastal restoration. This isn't just about money. It's about saving our coast, protecting communities, and making sure Louisiana can keep thriving. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We cover important issues like this all the time, and I don't want you to miss out. Let's keep this conversation going. So there you have it. Kennedy and Edwards going head-to-head on the RISEE Act, and why it matters for Louisiana. This isn't just political talk. This is about our state's future, our economy, and our coastline. If we want to protect Louisiana for future generations, we need to fight for fairness. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like this video if you found it informative, subscribe for more updates, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.